Welcome back to Pro Shop. Now, yesterday the owners of the car were in and I was giving them an update of the progress, so I thought it's a great time to give everyone else an update of the progress. So I'm going to start with that, and then I'm going to get stuck into showing you how I hinged the hard lid, and then I'm going to go and fabricate the intercooler. So stick around, we've got a lot to do, let's get to it.
Alright, so what I did is before the owner got here, I just got all the parts out that we have, laid them all out, fitted some of the stuff to it, and just to show him what we need. You know, we need to repair some stuff we can get new. We're going to get new guards, new lower valance, the bonnet. Well, I've already repaired this, the frame, the skin needs some work. You can't buy these bonnets, so it's a shame. But I'll repair that. The doors, we've got new skins, they've already been notched, ready to wrap the edges around. But I couldn't really fit anything until I had this front area complete. That's why I went ahead and did the intercooler. You'll see that later in the video. And now that all this is done, I can bolt it together with the new guards and the valance and work my way back, gapping everything. Bonnet, actually I do have to get the new hinges, they're coming, and fit the doors and then start gapping all that. So that's my job over the next few weeks. First, I've got to rip the motor out because the motor is going to the engine builders next week. It's going to be good. I get to drop the motor off as I pick up the gearbox for this one. And that's the problem. You haven't seen any videos of this because we've got it registered driving and it wasn't shifting into third gear. So box to come out, that's fixed. So I've got to put that back in next week. And one thing I did when the owners were here, I got them to sit in just to make sure the shifter, the seat, the steering, the pedals, you know, was just all in the right place. And lucky, because I made this fit me, I'm lucky for them that it does fit. So I can just now start welding all that in. I will cover the hinges in a second, and I've got all the molds and stuff. It needs a little bit of work, there's some dents and stuff in that. But these things, yeah, they've seen better days. So I've got to go through all that and sandblast a lot. But yeah, that's about it really. I'm going to, as you can see, I've taken the covers off my car because as soon as this gets off the hoist, that's going on. And yeah, that's another video coming. I haven't even done a video on that or ever. Anyway, back to this. So let's go back just over 2 weeks and I'll show you what I did with the hinges. All right, today I'm getting stuck into the hinges for this hard lid. So the hinges that I used on the bed floor off a boot of a late model BMW, and these work really well. They've got a good lift on them. The way the curve is and everything, and the pivot point, that means that it can lift up and away from the edge here. So instead of it pivoting and hitting here, it can clash. It's worked out really well. So yesterday I found some on Marketplace and had to go down and pull them off the car. They're a little different model, like you can see the profile is a little bit different, but the shape's the same, and these mounting hinge plates, whatever you want to call them, are the same. I'm going to make this sit up on the parcel shelf. So the hinge point, like the pivot point, it's got to be as high as it can. If it goes too low, then that's when this will actually clash onto here. So after some trial and error, I had to cut a bit away just to try this, but I'll patch that all back in. I've cut a notch out underneath that the hinge will push up into this little cavity, and you can see I had to put a fold in this to get this level. So what I mean by that is that how level the car is. Like the hoist is a little bit out, but if that is level with that, that's pretty close. This thing is a little bit off. That way then the hinges aren't going to go up and down smoothly, and it's going to want to fight. And if two of them are opposite, the hinges are going to fight with one another. So I just put this little bit of a fold here to get that right, because this actually parcel shelf curves down a bit. So that is square and level, and then I have to make this also square, because if this is a little bit out, then it's also going to make the hinge go a little bit out. So what I did for testing, just chuck it in sharply because I need two hands. Imagine if this here is the hard lid, and then I've got like a 2mm gap or a 3mm gap here, and then as it comes up, it'll clear. The whole tray is lifting up and away, which is what we want. The other thing about getting it square this way and that way is that I just put square down, and then you can lift up the hinge, and as long as it's not moving away from the square, you've got it. So I hope that makes sense. Now I'm going to copy this on the other side. I've already marked it, so I've just got to notch this out. I've got to drill these bolts out and put that little fold in it, set that in, and just for now, like the other side, I'll just screw it in through the bolt holes, and then I'm going to get the hinging kind of plates made up for this. And that way I can just see if it's going to move up and down perfectly before I weld everything in. Alright, this side, a lot easier, seeing that I knew what I was doing. So just trimmed it in, really nice, screwed it down, put that little fold in there, and I'm ready to start making the plates for this. So I've got some 10mm aluminium flat bar, and I'm going to weld that into here and drill some holes and thread them, and then I'm going to put the bolts from this side and Loctite them in. So it'll just be the stud sticking out, and that way I can make a plate and weld it to this, and then bolt the plates, bolt that plate to this plate. Alright, that side's done. Got the plate ready. And then I could just weld it like that. However, there is a lot of travel on this left. So Made this one a little bit tighter, just so it locks in place better. But if I didn't cut that down, the hard lid would be ridiculously high, and we don't need that. So I'm going to bring it back down, chop off what I don't need. But first, I'm just going to lift the hard lid up with the block and tackle and get it in the right position so I can just mark how much I want to cut off. Okay, that's all marked, so now I can just cut that off, put the plate on, and make sure the packers are in, and then just tack it in for now. And let's see if that works. See if it opens. Well, I'm pretty happy with this. So it's just all tacked in. This is still just screwed in. That's just tacked on. But I'm happy with that angle. That's it maxed out. It's sitting on the bump stops on the back of the hinges. I was trying to get it a little bit higher. I wanted it to be the same angle in my head. This is how I wanted it to be. Same angle when the bed floor was up. You can see a little bit of difference. But if I had to get on going up higher to get it at that same angle, it was gonna be too close to the window. So if it's not too bad, I can always just put shorter gas struts on there to get that look. But am I just being too pedantic? Not much more I can really do before I get this latch. And it's coming from the States, still probably 2 to 3 weeks away, they said. All right, well, there's not much more I can do on the hard lid, so let's go on with other things. Maybe the front. Let's maybe play with the intercooler. All right, going on with the intercooler today. It has arrived. Now, when I ordered it, I ordered a 3-inch thick one, and they said that was going to be probably a 3 to 4 month wait. So they said they had this one in stock. It was 3.5. It flows a little bit more, so I think it was from 900 to 950 horsepower. All I got to do is make it fit. So I had this cardboard mock-up template that I designed for that size, and all I had to do was kind of notch out in here on that and a little bit on the top. This is the radiator mock-up that I did with the fans. It's going to be a shroud, all that stuff, and just to get the clearances right. And then this was going to be the tanks with a good clearance for the hose to go onto here. And same as this side, down there, the hose will go straight to the turbo. But yeah, as I said, couldn't get the 3-inch, so I've got an extra 1/2 inch I've got to deal with down here. Now, I might be able to get it. Well, I have to get it, that's the thing. So what I'm going to do is, I've already taken out these rivets, which is lucky because we bought this. Well, the owner bought this, looked like it was a finished panel, ready to be painted, sanded back and painted, but lucky I did this. Because in between, just a couple of rivets, all it took. And you could have just primed this, and now it's starting to rust. At the moment it's only surface, so it's a little bit deeper there. Doesn't need any repairs, but lucky I caught this now. Yeah, you can see here, you can see the heavily pit marks in it. It's had some repairs. Anyway, it's still a good panel. You can buy them. Did think about it, but yeah, we've got it here anyway. So I'm gonna remove these two, keep this one for now, but we're gonna do a custom grill anyway, so I'm probably gonna get rid of all of them, but for now I just need, there's still something to hold it all together. And you can see I have to do some work at the top too. So I've got plenty of room up here. I can come up into this section, but then the cooler will be behind this section, so sort of a bit of wasted space. But yeah, I've got a notch in here, then strengthen everything. So there's a fair bit of work to do before I even get the core in there and start making some tanks. All right, this is how much I need to notch out. The core actually comes up this much, and I've got about 50mm from the top of the core to where the latch comes down, so in that area there. So I'll notch this out now, and then I'll sit the core in there, and hopefully I'll be able to just build something around it to strengthen it, hold it, all that stuff. Anyway, let's go. Oh, that's what smells. Thanks, Barney. Thanks for sharing. All right, got it all back together. Sitting in there really nice. So it's up 16mm from the bottom, and you can see that we've got about 10, almost 15mm to that catch. And as I said, like, I'm gonna make this taper in. I don't want to have this straight out and I have to notch this. I'll make that taper in and yeah, do some cool stuff with the tanks. Okay, I've done the two profiles I need, so it's good that I made this template up because I can just use it for the shapes I need. So that was good, and you can see there's going to be plenty of clearance down there, and same on this side. So I've already cut the next ones, and then they're going to go on that angle. So I'll tack that in like that, and then I can make up the edges. All right, one side's tacked on, just have to do the other, and I've just got it sitting so that this will be flat all the way along. The bottom one's actually a little bit longer than the top one, and yeah, so I'll just tack this in and put it back in. Fits nice. Nice even gap along there. All right, well, I can cap these in, and I'll just leave them tacked for now because I've still got to cut the hole, and I'm going to cut the hole off. I'm not going to do it on there because all the swarf will go through the cooler and that's not good. Alright, got one tank all folded up, ready to be tacked together. Now I did want to do rounded edges like a press tank, sort of like similar to this, but I started having a go, just a quick, but there was like this edge had to be curved and this one had to be curved, and because it tapers it was a bit tricky to do, so I thought it doesn't really matter, it's just my little being pedantic. So I just folded it up like that and then I'll just TIG it up. So similar on this one, I've just got the straight bit already cut, and then I'll mark the folds as it goes around. Actually, first what I'll do is mark how much I've got to cut it off, because it'll be easier to put it in the bandsaw while it's still flat. All right, now I'll just take the plastic off, clean the edges up, and just put a couple of tacks on it and put it back in. All right, now it looks like a turboed car. The tanks fit in there beautifully, as they should. So now I'm gonna put a cross brace. What I'm thinking about doing is putting a bit of 20 by 20 along the top here, and then tying it in underneath like that. So it'll be, all this will be one piece, and then I can build some brackets off this to this bracket, and yeah, tie it all in. All right, we are looking pretty good. There's a big gap here. I can come up, but it's nice and even. 60mm on the bottom. It's about the same on the top. So now all I want to do is just go along and tack this. I've got to patch this in, tack more, put a lot of welds on it in here, and then I'll pull it off and TIG all of this up. All right, that's almost all welded. Just gonna do a bit behind here and some plug welds underneath. But I'll just take this out now and take it over to the bench, finish welding it and grind it, and I can put it back in. that fits in there nice. All capped in. And now I'm going to start making these panels here. So I'm going to come along here and follow the profile of that tank. Okay, so you can see what I've been doing here is I cut, that's still in here, I haven't done this side yet, but all of that bad bit I cut out and thickened it up. That's 2 mil in there. And now what I was trying to do was make this flush with the cooler, sort of like that. But it's better if because I came forward more, because it's thicker, it gave me more room at the back, which is good because I still have to put the radiator in. So it's going to be something like that. But I will sheet this back probably about halfway up to the intercooler, back up to here, and maybe put a rubber on it or something, I don't know yet. But I'm going to do the other side. fitting really nice. I'm happy with that. So I'll just leave it like this for now until I make all the mounts and get everything really square. So I'm probably gonna have to put the bonnet back on, do all the bolts up on the guards, the valance, everything. But before I do that, I'm gonna actually clean up all those drain holes, and I might save that for another video because this is getting pretty long. Thanks to everyone that's following along with this build, because I'm pretty happy with it, and seems to be getting a good response. So as always, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, all that kind of stuff as well. So cheers, see you next time.